conditions are not ideal today. It's a little rainy, a little cold, and very, very sandy and muddy. So as you can see by the look.
What's up? It's Juice Beats, and I'm back again with another race video. This one is the Hincapie Spring Series Day 1, and it's the crit at the Rock Hill Criterium course in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We're going for 40 minutes plus 2 laps today in the Cat 4, Cat 5 race, or the Cat 4 Novice race is what they're calling it now. I averaged 24.6 miles per hour, 324 watts, an average of 338 normalized, and I maxed out at 1207 watts in this race, and that's nowhere near my max for wattage, but I guess you'll see why in this race I didn't really need to max out all that much. Just want to say before you guys get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when I post videos. I will be putting out another video here soon from the day 2 of these races, and the footage looks a little bit better than this. Also want to say I am sorry about the footage on this race. This is what I've got. I could not do anything about the conditions or anything on this race course during that day. It was pretty disgusting, and it was wet, cold, and you can see, you know, when you get behind a tire or, you know, you're drafting off somebody, you're gonna have debris and mud and dirt and all that stuff that's getting flinged up on the camera, and so that's kind of what happens throughout this race. Starts out somewhat disgusting, gets a little clear, and then it goes back. So there was really no way to avoid that in this race. I got a good clip in to start, and really just trying to sit in early, get in with the peloton, and just try to draft down the hill. So we are going counterclockwise, and we go clockwise on day 2. This way is a little bit more downhill. There is a steep uphill climb coming up here very shortly, but for the most part, this way is a little bit more downhill. So here comes that sharp incline right here, and it does slow down the progression, I guess, or the field a little bit here. But I think in this first lap, everybody was kind of just a little bit apprehensive, trying to get a feel for how the course was going to ride. It's very difficult to tell sometimes how the course is going to be when it's raining like this. So, you know, using the first lap as kind of a neutral lap, I guess, and just seeing how your lines are going to feel and how the course is going to feel under your tires at the speeds that we're going. I think that's kind of what everybody was doing. Nobody was trying to speed off right from the get-go. But here we go on the final stretch, going into the last little turn here, and we're pretty much all together. I'm sitting in the pack, maybe close to the back here. As you can see, there's only one person behind me at the moment. Not necessarily a bad thing this early in the race, but definitely don't want to stick around there for too long. Here we go on the the home stretch into the finish line. We're gonna go ahead and start this second lap here. And I think, during this lap, I felt like this is when we started to pick up a little bit and, felt more like a little bit of a race here. So before the race, I like to get out to the race, or this particular race, like a day early. I usually come out the day before and just kind of ride around the track a little bit, just to get a feel for it. And I was able to do that. I didn't do anything super long. I think I only did about 5 miles on the track or something like that. Pretty familiar with it since I have been there 2 times before already. But went out there and did those laps. And then, so right before this race, I got there about an hour early. I had been up at 6 in the morning and, ate breakfast and just kind of sat around for a little bit at the hotel there. And then went over to the track about 8. They weren't quite ready with the numbers, the bib numbers. So had to wait just a little bit for that. But I was trying to make sure that everything was okay with the bike. Everything sounded okay at first, but as soon as I got on the track to warm up, my disc brakes sounded like they were rubbing slightly. So I was a little bit worried about that. I did about a lap or so, and then I jumped off the track, and I was at the car trying to fix that. I was messing with the calipers, just trying to keep them aligned, and it's very hard to see if it was aligned or not. And then I would spin the wheel. It sounded like it was okay. I get back out there. I did another lap, and they were still rubbing just slightly. Jumped off the track again. So I got it to where I thought it was fine for the race, but I only got maybe a couple laps in at the beginning of the race as far as a warm up, and I wanted to get a little bit more of a substantial warm up than that. Especially because it's cold and rainy and all that stuff. So I didn't get the exact warm up that I wanted to do before this race. And so a lot of this race, I'm warming myself up throughout. But I am just trying to stick in right here. Nothing too big going on early in this race. It is pretty quiet so far. Because of the rain and the temps that we had during this race, my legs did get a little stiff at one point. They felt like they were freezing a little bit too much. It did go away, but there was a point where I was like, whoa, my legs feel a little stiff here. What's going on? I hope they're not frozen or something like that. I wasn't wearing leggings, and that's probably why. But once I started to push a little bit more, it started to loosen up a little bit, so it wasn't too much of a problem or anything. I felt really good going up this hill. This is usually the point where I guess in the past it was pretty tough to go up this hill as many times as you do during a race, but I felt really strong. I finished that 6-week program from Training Peaks and my training coach, and I really did feel a lot stronger going up those hills, and I was able to keep up with the rest of the group fairly easy and not wear myself out going up that hill. Also, I didn't know anybody in the race, or didn't. Well, I guess I recognized one person from a previous race, but yeah, I really didn't know anybody in the race. So trying to find a strong wheel is difficult sometimes when you don't know anybody. And it's not always, the people in the front. You just never know who's going to be strong in the race. So I really just trying to find a wheel that I could tell that they were moving up in this race. So that was kind of my strategy, I guess, is just make sure I'm drafting off somebody that looks like they're moving up here. And also not trying to get super close. Obviously I want to draft, but because of the conditions of the course and just, the mud and dirt that was on the course, didn't want to get super close to the wheel just so that I wasn't sliding into somebody or anything like that. But I think for the most part, everybody was pretty safe. There was a couple close calls that I can remember, just people sliding just slightly, but everybody stayed up, and it was safe enough in these conditions. And like I said before, I'm sorry about this footage. Really can't see much of what's going on. It's hard for me. I'm watching it as I'm doing this, and it's hard for me to kind of see what's going on as well. So I can't tell you who's in front. But I will say that, what you're seeing on the front camera footage is kind of what I was seeing through my sunglasses that I was wearing for the race. Sunglasses are really great in biking because they're going to block out wind, they're going to block out bugs, they're going to block out, obviously the sun, but when it's raining and stuff like this, and normally it's not too bad. Like, you'll get some droplets on your sunglasses, but you can still see. But I think because of the mud and stuff that was on the track, that was getting caked on, so it was making it very difficult to see on the course here. And that's what's kind of coming up on the GoPro here as well. So throughout the race, I was, using my glove hands and wiping my glasses just so that I could see a little bit better. Just whenever I felt like there was a little bit of a lull, that I could do that. I noticed there's a lot more teams that came out on this weekend as well. I can't remember exactly who was in this race as far as team-wise, but I know that there was more teams that I had seen in the past at these races. Here we go, getting a little bit strung out here on this fifth lap here. Getting a little too far back for comfort at the moment. Let's see if I can catch back up right here. I had to put in a little bit of a dig to get back on the back of the Peloton here. Struggling right here. Come on, get on the wheel. Yeah, I'm putting in a little dig here, just trying to get back on the wheels here in the back of the Peloton. It does get a little surgy back in the back here, and that's part of the reason why you want to stay in the middle or closer to the front, so you don't have those surges throughout the race like that, because you can get spit out the back pretty easily, and you can kind of see that here where I've been spit out the back at this point. I think part of the reason why I ended up getting spit out the back here is because I think this is when there was an attack at the front, and I got caught trying to clean my glasses off, and there I almost went off the road because I was trying to clean my glasses off still. So yeah, visibility was a factor in this race for me. And that was one of the reasons why I kind of fell off the back here and essentially was dropped at this point. This was an oh shoot moment for me, and had to put in a few digs right here. So we're only we're on lap 6 here. We're only 6 laps in, and I am struggling to stay on the wheels of the Peloton, which sucks because I need to be able to see, for one, and the reason why I wasn't able to stay on the wheels is because I was trying to be able to see. So here I am digging back in, trying to get back with the Peloton. And at this point, my GoPro actually malfunctions, and there is a missing portion of the front camera. But as you can see, I've got the back camera at this point for kind of a backup view. And what I'm going to do is kind of speed through here and catch back up to when I actually catch back up to the Peloton, because there is really not a whole lot going on at this point with the back camera. All right, so we jump forward just a little bit. It really wasn't that much further that it took me to catch back on. There was a little bit of a slowdown, and I was able to catch back on basically around the first turn once you cross the start-finish line. So was able to catch back on, and now I'm back in with the Peloton. Of course, this is still part of the malfunction of the GoPro in the front camera. So this is the back camera view, and you can see that I am trying to make my way back up into the Peloton here, and I'm passing a few guys just to get back in with the group. And it seems like the back camera did pretty well with the solution that I put on the lens. It looks like the droplets are kind of dispersing and kind of falling off the lens pretty well. The front camera just didn't really do it very well. And I think it was just because the mud and everything that was caked in there really didn't help it out at all with that solution that I put on. That solution is supposed to help with the water droplets and kind of dissipate them and make them fall off so that the picture's a much clearer, but it just wasn't happening. And you can see in this back camera, even though some of the footage is sped up at this point, you know, some guys are wiping their face off or wiping their glasses off at the same time too. So everybody else was having similar problems, I think, in this. And yeah, I could say that the visibility in this race was pretty terrible, and normally wouldn't like to race in conditions like this, but you know, you can't help it sometimes. Here we go. I got my front camera back. Yeah, for some reason I don't understand why that portion of the film cut out, but so here it is back on, and we've got the front camera and the back camera back together again, and I am back in with the Peloton, and I am just trying to stick in again here and not get spit out the back at this point. We are 9 laps and going into our 10th lap here very soon. This is that last turn right here into the final straightaway. And it does go slightly uphill there, so it does kind of slow down everybody just a little bit as you go up that hill. And even I think through the start-finish line, it's a slight uphill, maybe even less than 1%, but it is kind of going slightly uphill. And then after this first turn right here, then it's all downhill from there. So 10th lap, sticking in there. I remember thinking in my head, you know, I probably need to be up a little bit closer, but I've still got time in this race, and it doesn't seem like things are getting that far away from me. Obviously, I had to dig in for a couple laps just to get back in with the Peloton, but there really weren't that many attacks in this race. You know, even with the teams that were in the race, I expected a little bit more of some attacks going up this hill, but I really believe like the conditions really hampered all that, and people were really just trying to stay together at this point. The weather does play a big factor in a lot of these races from my experience. When I did my very first race last year around this exact same time, I know that the weather played a big part in my race that day. It was super cold. It was raining, sleeting, maybe even a little bit of snow. And it just, you know, it makes you cautious on turns. It makes you slow down just a little bit. And you know, it cost me in that race. I got spit out the back in that one, and wasn't really able to recover. But in this race, you know, I'm definitely much stronger than I was then. Been working really hard, been losing weight, been training pretty hard in the off season, trying to get stronger and everything like that. And I think that was, you know, a testament to my ability to get back on to the Peloton. If this was last year, I don't think I would have caught back up to them, but I was able to catch back on and stick in there with them. All right, so I'm speeding through just a little bit more here. Not a whole lot went on at this point, really. I am just kind of sticking in, and it looks like we've got about 5 laps or so to go. And yeah, no attacks. I think somebody is kind of dangling off the front just a little bit here, but I think we all kind of come together right here at this point and kind of catch right back up. Like I said, it was really tough to tell if there were attacks or anything going off in the front. or if anybody was really getting away. I think at one point I asked somebody in the peloton, I was like, did somebody go off the front? It's really hard to tell when the visibility is like this. And it really wasn't raining hard or anything. I think if it was raining harder, it would have been maybe easier to see, if that makes sense. But because of, I guess, the way it was raining, it was just so hard to kind of be able to see, especially through my glasses. And I was, steadily wiping them off. And then, of course, the way it's kind of blurry looking right now, that's exactly what I was kind of looking at. So, not that, that's an excuse or anything like that, but, it is what it is. And here I am dangling off the back a little bit more than I would like to at this point. We are, 12 laps in, getting close to the end of the race, and I am not in a great position at this point. I think that was another time where I was trying to wipe off my glasses and be able to see again. But luckily, the peloton isn't taking off at the front, and everybody's kind of bunched together, so it really didn't affect me in that way where I lost the peloton again. And as I'm listening to this with my headphones on, I can hear my disc brakes rubbing throughout this race, and that just sucks. You don't realize, it doesn't necessarily slow you down a ton, but it can slow you down a little bit. So there is some factor in that where if it is rubbing like that, it can slow you down slightly. And like I said, I didn't notice it that much in this race or anything like that, but it could be a factor in certain things. Things haven't quite picked up quite yet. We're going pretty fast up the hill here, but 22, 21 miles an hour. I'm digging it a bit. I'm trying to find a wheel to ride up behind here and draft. But everything's pretty smooth, I think, at this point too. Everybody's kind of found their lines, and there is no slowing down around the curves or anything, like holding on to the brakes at this point, I don't believe. You do notice though, as you go around that corner there, that it's basically almost 180 degrees back into this last stretch, that people slow down. They're trying to kind of catch themselves as they come up that hill and do that turn, and then they basically have to put down some watts to get back to normal speed there. So keep an eye on that part of the hill there. And I am sitting about mid-pack. We've had several people drop out or get lapped, I think, in the race so far, and that's what you kind of see, some guys to the side that we passed on the way there. All right, lap 14 right here. Staying in the draft. We're pushing hard. Not really. See, my wattage is not crazy. I am just coasting. It's nice when I can rest a little bit like this, though. I do get a little bit nervous, though, going at speeds like this downhill, because I am bigger than most people in the Peloton. I tend to pick up speed quicker going downhill, and the reason why I'm nervous is because I don't want to run into people's wheels going downhill like that. So I'm trying to look for a way to not go into somebody's wheels, basically look for an open space. And I don't need to really draft going down the hill because I carry my own momentum and everything. So that's kind of why I'm getting off to the side a little bit more and trying to avoid being right behind a wheel. And then once we go up this hill, I try to find a wheel to get behind that's going to take me up the hill the quickest way. And looking back right here, I probably should have punched it a little bit more and got up with that front group right there. There was a little bit of an opening that opened up right there on the left, and I probably could have pushed myself a little bit more to get up there. I forgot though, so I don't think it was a malfunction, but I think the battery actually ran out on the back camera at this point. I charged it, and for some reason it just didn't last as long. I'm guessing because the cold and the rain probably got to it throughout the race. But yeah, so I lost the back camera at this point, and so all we've got is this blurry front camera. So again, sorry about that, but yeah, I can't do much about it. Here we go, we're coming down to the last couple laps here in the race. Things are starting to pick up a little bit more. And I just noticed right before that turn that, I was out in the wind, but if I had punched it, I probably could have got up to the front there and maybe caused some havoc, I don't know. Got a little brush of the shoulders there, but everybody stayed up. Now everybody's going to use up all their energy trying to stay up towards the front, and here I am, I'm just coasting. Get a lot of momentum going down this hill, and I'm going to be able to just stay with the Peloton pretty easily. And we're traveling pretty quickly down this hill right here, and just thinking about it, I probably could have punched it a little bit more here as well and got up right up in that gap right there. So I'm looking, I'm trying to stay behind a wheel, but at this point in the race, there's only 2 laps left, so I probably could have got up even quicker and been up towards the front a little bit more here. Here we go, find that open space, get behind a wheel here. I did have to punch it a little bit on this hill. Early on, I hit over 1,000 watts, but then I kind of settled back, and there was a few little surges here. Everybody's really trying to get positioned for this last lap that we're going into in just a minute. We'll see right here. People are really digging in hard. And I think from these digs right here, I'm sitting closer to the back of the Peloton, maybe even all the way on the back here at this point, which I didn't want to do. So here I am. I'm gonna try to find a good wheel to stay up on going into this last lap. Here we go. Hear that bell? Last lap. All right, now we gotta find a good position, and of course, here I am out of position again. Should be up there in the middle to front, but I always have to make things harder for myself, apparently. Yeah, definitely out of position on this last lap, and I really should have punched it earlier and been up there at the front, but just looking at this point right here, there's really nothing I could do going on the down here. We're already going pretty fast. It looks like my heart rate's still pretty under control at this point. It's not getting up into the 170s or anything like that, where it starts to really burn. And I am passing people on this downhill. I hit 40 miles an hour. Here we go into this hill right here. This is where I got to make up some ground because we're getting to the very end. Watch, I'm gonna push up 1,000 watts here. People are slowing down on this hill while I am speeding up. I'm hitting 26 miles an hour, going up this hill, keeping those watts. And I'd say this is probably a testament to the training program that I've done. I've been able to hold those watts for a little bit longer than normally would. Here, I probably should have gone out to the left first instead of coming inside. But hindsight's 20/20 here. But so I'm trying to conserve a little bit of energy before I make this push right here. But I've passed a bunch of people on the hill, and I still need to make my way up. And I'm passing people here towards the end. I can see the front group right in front of me right there, and I don't have enough to make it to the front couple guys, but here I go on a little bit of a sprint. I did a little dig, and I'm passing guys towards the end, and boom, right there, I hit 8th place, so made it basically all the way from the back of the peloton, made my way through, and hit 8th place out of, I think, 31 or 32 in this race. Lots of mistakes, and I know that I could definitely do better. And I mean, 8th place is not bad, but for me, I felt like I could have done better definitely in this race, and I really did want to make it up closer, hopefully get a podium or something like that. But it was just a lot of things in this race. I mean, the weather, the visibility, all that stuff played a huge factor in the way I was able to race in this race, I guess. And so yeah, I guess that the best I could do in my situation and the situation in this race. Hats off to the guys who dug it out in this cold and rainy weather. And the top 3 in this race were actually 16 years old. So some pretty strong racers at 16, and hats off to them. Great job in this cold and rainy weather. Some strong guys. And I think, I don't know if all 3 of them did, but I know that one of them had done the junior race, had done the junior race, or was getting ready to do the junior race right after that. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. But I hope you like this video, and I am going to be putting out the second day video here coming soon, and that one is a little bit bigger. It's got a lot more riders in it and a lot more teams. There's some tactics going on throughout that race, so I will be pointing that out. And yeah, the visibility is much better in that one too, so you'll be able to actually see some things that are going on. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that like button, hit hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for the next videos that pop up, so you'll get notified on that. And I will see you guys on the next one.